Hey folks, welcome to the Do It Yourself Dad channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how we're going to install this tankless RO filter from Deepuro. Now, we went with this unit because it is a tankless unit. It gives us a lot more room underneath the sink. It's a pretty tight space under there, so this should be a pretty easy install. Now, let's get started. Now, one of the first things you have to do is take each one of the filters out. And there will be these little rubber caps in place. We got to remove those little rubber caps. We're going to do that for each cartridge. Now, I know the countertops look gross, and it's something we're going to get around to someday. These are 40, 50-year-old countertops. The house is a fixer-upper, one step at a time. Next, we install this quick connector on the filtered port on the machine. And while we're at it, we will remove the plugs from the inlet and the waistline. So now we install the spigot itself. The spigot runs straight down to the top of your sink like so. And then on the underside, you back it with this. Now moving under the sink, we want to locate our cold water supply. We're going to turn that off and then go up to the sink and open up the cold line to relieve the pressure. Once the pressure's been relieved, we can go back underneath and take our wrench and loosen up that line. But before we do that, you're going to want to take a towel or a bowl and put it underneath because you will probably get a little bit of water out of that line. So now with our water line removed, we can install our adapters. Now, one of the things that really impressed me about the system from Deepuro is that it came with a bunch of different adapters. So no matter what kind of installation you got going on at your house, it should have the right adapter for you. Now, I will have a link for this particular filter down in the description below. Now, a pointer is get that cold water line, the fresh water line that's coming off your tap, and install it now before you install this valve underneath your sink. It makes it a lot easier doing it now instead of having to do it under the sink later. So now we're going to come in and install our little adapter here. So while I'm tightening this up, it's worth mentioning that not only do you not need plumber's tape, but it's actually advised not to use plumber's tape because it can prevent you being able to torque down this nut all the way and making a good seal against that gasket, actually causing leaks instead of preventing them. So now with that adapter installed, we can now install our line back up to our sink. It's also worth noting right here, I do have a line going to my refrigerator freezer for a water line. If that's something you need to do, I do have a link down in the description below where you can check that out. Right now, let's finish up this. Next, we need to drill a hole in our drain pipe. Now, RO filters have a waistline and a filtered water line. This is for the waistline. You're supposed to do it in a vertical stretch of pipe. We're going to be using a 1/4-inch drill bit. Now, these do have a slip fitting here. You can actually unscrew these. So we're going to drill it in the front, install it, and then rotate the whole thing. So the hole's actually going to be pointing that way. Now with our hole drilled, we're going to apply the little foam gasket around the hole itself. And then wrap our fitting around the pipe. Now you do want to make sure that that hole stays lined up with the hole inside, and the easiest way to do that is to use a toothpick or a shish kebab skewer or a nail or something and just feed it all the way through. That way it stays in line as you tighten up the screws. So once you know you have everything aligned, you want to snug these totally down and then remove your little alignment tool that you made and install the drain line. Now the drain line fittings, all you got to do is push it straight in, give it a little tug and make sure it's secure. Now like I mentioned before, it is a really tight fit under my sink. So we're gonna put the unit in place. I've already hooked the power cable to the back of it because once it's in, it's going to be kind of hard to retrieve that thing. And we're going to slide it in on its side and rotate it up next to all my plumbing. And now there are 3 lines we have to hook up. The first that I'm going to hook up is our input line. That is the line that's coming off of our faucet. Now, these are all the same connecting. You push them in and they should seat just fine. The next line is our waistline. It hooks up the exact same way. And the final line to hook up is our filtered line. Now the other end of the filtered hose is going to go up to the bottom of the faucet that we installed at the beginning, and it installs the exact same way with a little push fitting. Now we have all of our fittings installed. To fire up the system for the first time, turn on the cold water line, and then if your tap had one of these little valves on it, you're also going to want to turn on that valve. So now, check for any leaks. If you do have a leak on any one of your hoses, push it all the way in and then give it a little tug back out to make sure it's seated properly. Next, we plug the entire system in. With it plugged in, it should start its flushing procedure. Now, you do want to check your manual because every flushing procedure on each one of these units may be a little bit different. Let's get it plugged in. With it plugged in now, it is doing its flushing procedure. Part of this flushing procedure is running through all the filters, and I also need to open up the tap up on the top and let that run for a bit. The water that comes out might look a little dark. That is the carbon filter flushing out. That is okay. With my system, you want to run this for a little bit and let it totally clear out, and then we should have a good working system. So now with this thing working, I'm going to show you how well it works with this. This is a total dissolved solids meter, and this will tell us how much dissolved solids are in each water source, this being our tap water and this being our RO water. Now, dissolved solids are not necessarily a bad thing. Those are minerals that are in your water, and minerals are good for you. They're good for your plants, but what they're not good for is chrome surfaces where they leave water spots in water boilers, tea kettles, and things like that. So let's take a water sample from our tap and a water sample from our RO machine. So this is our tap water, this is our RO water. We're gonna put our meter in there. And we're getting a reading right now of 392. That's pretty hard for water. Now we're gonna dry this thing off real quick. And now let's put the meter in our RO water. You can see there I'm getting a reading of 13. So it is a massive reduction in total dissolved solids between these two water sources. Now, if scale and deposits is something that you're dealing with, and we've been dealing with it here, I've actually been playing around with a Descaler. It's not a water softener. It's one of the systems that you wrap around your pipe and actually changes how the calcium builds up on your appliances. And I'm actually having really good results. So I'm gonna have a video on that thing out as soon as it's done. So you're gonna want to hit that subscribe button. It'll let you know when that video releases. I'll also have a link down below once it does release. Now, I hope this video helped you out. Hope you got your RO system all installed and up it's running. If you have any questions, leave them down in the description below. I'm happy to help you out. If you have any suggestions for new videos, I'd also love to hear your advice. So if this video did help out, give it a great big thumbs up. And of course, thanks for watching.